So here's a
Same
question,
thing,
because I know
but,
you
like,
bought your first rental property in cash.
I did.
Why not take out a mortgage to do that?
I tried.
Oh, and they
Yeah,
didn't let
I got
you.
denied because I didn't have a credit card.
Oh.
And believe it or
you didn't have
not-
a credit score. This is
Correct.
an interesting discussion
Correct.
here.
And yeah. So that was one of my biggest regrets. That's what actually really got me into credit cards to begin with.
You were like,
'Cause
I'm not going to fall for this
I
again.
had no debt. I paid everything with cash, and I saved. So at the time, I think I was 20 years old, give or take. I had like 120 grand saved up in cash. I bought everything with cash. I bought my car cash. I used a debit card on everything. I was so proud. It's like I had no debt, and I've never needed to borrow money for anything. I was so proud of that. So when I wanted to go and buy a property, I spoke with several mortgage brokers. All of them were like, if you don't have a credit card, you need a cosigner. I couldn't get a cosigner because my parents did not have a good credit score at the time.
Yeah, who wants to cosign for a 20-year-old's mortgage? I mean, that's scary.
Oh, yeah, totally. So I couldn't get any sort of cosigner. My grandma offered, but she was Canadian. And there was a big issue having a Canadian cosign on my mortgage as an American. So couldn't do that. And so I had to buy the property cash. But I went several routes. I think one lender offered me, it was like an 8 or 9% interest. Like it was so high, it just didn't make sense for me to take, so I bought it cash. And after that, I vowed, I'm going to get a credit card. I'm going to build up my credit score. I'm going to make a huge change here. And so now that's why I'm like such an advocate of like, hey, get a credit card, build your credit score. You could do it for free. It's really easy. And now I've got like an 805 credit score. Anywhere I want to get money from, I get it at the lowest interest rate.
But to have money, like you have enough money that you never need to borrow money, in a sense.
In a sense, but it makes sense in my tax bracket though, because I could use everything as a deduction.
This is like the Kiyosaki, like, well, debt's not taxed. It's the ultimate wealth hack.
Pretty much. But if I'm looking to buy a property, whatever debt I have against that property is just a write-off against the rental income. So already it knocks off like 40% of what I would be paying. So like I save 40% just taking out debt on that.
And I remember your discussion with Dave on this when you showed him all your properties and you was like, hey, what would you change? And he was like, I mean, I'd pay off all the mortgages. He's like, just to reduce risk. It's not mathematically in the picture here. But when it comes to the interest rate, and I actually did a no credit score mortgage back in 2019 successfully. So I just want to say that it can be done, and it wasn't that hard, honestly. I was kind of shocked at how easy it was. You know, you just submit a bunch of documents, your tax return, 12 months of rental history, proof of payments like insurance, cell phone bills. And
well, they've gotten better about it, I've seen, but this was back in 2010. A lot of those things, they weren't taking into account cell phone payments, utility bills, things like this.
Yeah. And Churchill Mortgage, which has been an advertiser with Dave for decades now, they're like the number one in the industry. And so they walk you through the whole process. And I did a 15-year. And we actually ran the numbers on this because a lot of people, I posted a video that went viral on TikTok, and it got so much hate. But people were like, well, yeah, if you want a 49% interest rate, you can try that guy's method. And I was like, I got the same rate that someone with excellent credit would have gotten. So we ran the numbers on this with some of the mortgage loan officers there. And it turns out if you do a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, which is the only mortgage we recommend at Ramsey, and you do at least 10% down, which we always recommend, 10% down, then you would have the same exact interest rate as someone with excellent credit.
On a what? On a 15 or a 30?
On the 15-year with 10% down. You'd have the same rate. And so that argument was just debunked with actual data from the mortgage quotes. But it's an interesting topic because I was, you're kind of worried. Like when you want to be a homeowner and there's one thing in your way and that's the credit score, it's scary. But having the data in front of you to go, okay, I need 12 months rental history. Most people are going to have that. I've paid my insurance and cell phone bills on time. I have my tax return. I can get a mortgage.
And it could also be just as easy to get like a secured credit card, a $300 limit. Put a few charges on the card every month that you would spend anyway. Like put your gas on the card. Like every time you go to the gas station, put it on the card and pay it off in full. If even like immediately afterwards when it posts, pay it off.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. But I found if you're going through the whole Ramsey plan from start to finish, when we're like, hey, do a plasectomy and cut up the credit card and close the accounts, there is a finality to the breakup that is also very freeing to go like, I don't have to keep up with what's the latest credit. I mean, I love your videos, but like the one, here's the 5 best credit cards to get in 2023, and here's the ones, here's the rotating cash back, and if restaurants this month are 5%, I'm like, but the whole point is we're trying to limit our expenses and be intentional and be on a budget. So getting 5% back on eating out, which is something that's going to cost you way more than eating at home, it kind of negates the cost, especially when you go, if you carry a balance, you're now at 24% APR.
If you don't pay it off in full. But my thought is that if you're going to a restaurant anyway, you may as well save 5%. So if you're going to do it anyway.
Which again, like very controversial take from Dave is you shouldn't be eating out if you're trying to aggressively pay off consumer debt.
Yeah.
Like, and as someone who, we're both pretty frugal guys, like it is unwise to go out and spend $30-$40 on, we went out and it was like, there's a 20% gratuity automatic. There's a 15% liquor tax on top of the tax if you got a cocktail.
Or you just don't drink.
Exactly. There's another life hack. And so all of a sudden you go, there's no way this is cheaper than eating at home. And so the whole idea of like eating at home, and I get people are like, well, your time, I saw the Alex Hormozy clip where he's like, you should never eat at home. You're an idiot if you eat at home. You should always be eating out. Like your time is worth so much more. I'm like, for most people, their time isn't worth that much more. Like
he's talking to
he's making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? Most people watching this, they're making $14 an hour going, Hormozy told me I should never eat at home. I'm losing money.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of debate in that circle as well. But on the credit card side, I just don't miss it. I mean, I legitimately, you've seen my wallet. Yeah. It's just the Apple wallet, and I have one card
What's in your wallet right now?
I just have I have my bank card and my license. That is it. You can see here. I'm not going to show you the card number.
Yeah, sure.
But there's my license and my debit card, and you can see it says debit.
That's true.
Verify. I feel like a magician being like, is this your card? But that's it. And it's been such a freeing life because I used to have, multiple cards. Which one should I use? What's going to be the best for cash back? And the mental energy I was spending and then going, am I utilizing the rewards to their full potential? And we talked about this the other night about like, what is the actual dollar value you can assign? And for people who are making crazy money and they've got the fanciest Amex cards, like you're utilizing all the value because you are super intentional. For most people, they're collecting the airline miles and they're like, I don't know how many miles this is because it's not actual air miles. If you have 40,000 miles, you're like, that feels like a lot. That'll get you to Boise one way if you're lucky from Nashville. And so a lot of people aren't doing the math on what these rewards are actually costing them.